Hello everybody, in this video we're going to create a very simple banking program using Java. This video is meant to be a beginner's project to help us understand how methods work. So if that sounds good to you, let's get started. As a beginner, it might be helpful to you to break up your project into separate steps, then tackle this project one step at a time. I'll add a few comments of the different steps our program is going to take. So first we're going to declare our variables. I misspelled that. Then we will display a menu. A user is going to pick a choice from this menu. Depending on what they want to do, they can make a deposit, show their balance, make a withdrawal, so on and so forth. We will get and process user's choice. We'll create a method of showBalance in order to display the balance to the user. Let me zoom in. Another method to make a deposit. Then a method to withdraw funds. We'll just say withdraw. And then we will create an exit message at the end, once the user exits. So again, as a beginner, it might be helpful to you to break up your program into different steps. We'll start with our step of declare variables. Here's the different variables we'll need. We have an account. Our account has a balance, such as dollars and cents. So a double would make sense for the balance, because it includes a decimal portion, cents. So we have our balance. We'll need a scanner because we're accepting user input. Scanner equals new scanner. Type system.in, import this class, import java.util.scanner, and then we are going to close our scanner when we're done with it. Let's take care of that now because I'm probably going to forget. We have our scanner, our balance. We're going to continue this program as long as a user doesn't exit. We'll need a while loop. We will declare and assign a Boolean variable of isRunning. Set that to be true. Continue this program while isRunning is true. Then we will accept a choice from the user. This will be an integer. A user is going to pick 1 to show balance, 2 to deposit, 3 to withdraw, or 4 to exit. The user is going to fill this in later using the scanner. Alright, we have declared our variables. Now we'll display a menu to the user. I will print the following. Let's say banking program. Now you don't need to do this, but I like to add some separators using a bunch of asterisks. I just think it makes it look cool. We will lay out the different options. We will have option 1. Option 1 will be to show balance. Option 2 will be to deposit. Option 3 will be to withdraw. 4 will be to exit. And then I'll add another separator. Again, not necessary. I think it would just look more organized. Now we need to get and process the user's choice. We have a variable of choice. We'll need to create a prompt. We will say, enter your choice, then hint 1 through 4. I'll use print instead of print line because I like the user input on the same line as the prompt. We will assign our variable of choice equal to use the scanner called the next int method. Ideally, a user is going to type in a number 1 through 4 to do one of the following. Now we'll process the user's choice. I think an enhanced switch would be great for this. We will create a switch and examine our variable of choice. We're examining our choice against matching cases. If choice equals a case of 1, we'll write an arrow to do something. We'll do this. We're going to call a method to show our balance, because 1 means the user wants to show their balance. We'll fill that in later. Let's write a test message. I'll use system.out.println. Let's say show balance. Case 2 will be for deposit. We'll just print a test message of deposit. Again, we're going to fill this method in later and call it. Case 3 is for withdraw. Case 3, withdraw. Case 4 is to exit. That we can actually fill in right away. It's pretty simple. We'll take our Boolean variable of isRunning and set it to be false. Then we'll add a default case, in case somebody doesn't type in a number 1 through 4. We'll output invalid choice. Let's test numbers 1 through 3 first. Enter a choice. I'll pick 1. That's for show balance. Again, we'll be calling a method later to show our balance. 2 is for deposit. We're depositing. 3 is for withdraw. 4 is to exit, but it doesn't do anything currently. Then any other choice, such as 5, prints out invalid choice. We want this program to continue running as long as isRunning remains true. So let's enclose our code within a loop. A while loop. While isRunning, you don't necessarily need to say equals true. If it's a Boolean, you could just say the Boolean variable's name. While isRunning is true. Then do all this code. So I'm going to cut our code currently and paste it within the while loop. Now we can test isRunning. 1 is to show balance. We show our balance. 2 is to deposit. We deposit. 3 is to withdraw. Withdraw. 4 is to exit, and we should exit. Processed finished with exit code 0. We know that that works now. Our next step is to show balance, and this is going to be a method. Outside of our main method, we're going to create a new method of show balance. This has to be a static method because our main method is also static. There will be no return type. The return type is void. The method name will be show balance. There's going to be one parameter, a double of balance. When we call this method, we have to pass in our balance variable. Within this method, we're going to use a printf statement. And I'll zoom in a little. Within this printf statement, pick a unit of currency you would like to use for this banking program. I'll use American dollars. We need a placeholder. We'll use a %, and then F to display a double. F means floating point number. We will display our balance. And from the beginning, I'm actually going to set my balance equal to 0. We're going to be testing it. Then let me zoom out. For case 1, we're going to call the showBalance method, but we have to pass in our balance variable. All right, let's test it. Enter a choice. I'll pick 1 to show our balance. Here's what we got currently. $0 and a bunch of zeros after the decimal. We are forgetting that new line character too, so let's add a new line character to the end before I forget. If you would like to display 2 digits after the decimal, for example, normally when you display a floating point number using printf, you display 6 digits after the decimal. To limit it to 2, we can add the following. After our placeholder, our %, we're going to add 0.2. Enter your choice. I will type in 1 to show our balance. Our balance is $0 and 0 cents. We're displaying 2 digits after the decimal. Let's change our initial balance to be $10.99. Enter your choice. I will type in 1. Our balance is $10.99. I think I'm also going to add a separator before displaying the balance too, to help with readability, although it's not necessary. So I'm going to cut one of these lines where we display a bunch of asterisks and print it right before displaying the balance. Let's show our balance, and here's our balance, $10.99. And we have some of those separators before and after, which I think looks nice. Our show balance method is complete. I'm going to collapse this method. We don't need to code within it anymore. Our next method is to make a deposit. We'll create a method of deposit. Oh, and then be sure to set your balance back to 0. We will create a static method. The return type is going to be double. We will declare this method as the deposit method. There will be no parameters, but we will be returning something, a double. Inside of this method, I will create a local variable. The data type is double. The name will be amount. A user is going to type in an amount, the amount that they're depositing, using this method. This method isn't going to work properly until we return something. Add return statement. Just temporarily, so everything runs fine, I'm just going to return 0. We'll take care of this later. I just want everything to run and compile fine. We will prompt a user to type in an amount. I will use print instead of print line. That's my own preference for prompts. Enter an amount to be deposited. Now, here's one issue. We're accepting user input from a user. Amount equals, if I attempt to use our scanner, scanner.nextDouble, there's an issue. Our method isn't aware what the scanner is, because we declared the scanner within a separate method, our main method. Methods can't see inside of each other. There's a few different options. One, we could create a local scanner within this method. You know, scanner equals new scanner and all that. I don't like the idea of creating several different scanners within this project, because then we're leaving them all open to accept user input. So why don't we do this? Let's take our scanner, move it from this local scope, and put it within a class scope. So let's cut our scanner within the main method and stick it within the main class. But it does need to be static, because some static methods are using it. This one scanner is accessible throughout the whole program now, and that warning goes away. So I think this would be better than creating several different scanners and leaving them all open throughout this program. We're just going to reuse the same one. At this point, we're going to verify the amount that the user types in. I'll use an if statement first. If a user types in an amount that's negative, well, they can't make a deposit. They can't deposit negative money. That's stupid. So we will check if our amount variable that the user types in is less than 0. If that's the case, we will print the following. Amount can't be negative. And then we will return 0. If the user does type in an amount that's valid, we'll execute an else statement, where we're going to return, let's cut our return statement at the end, we'll return our amount. Now, when we call our method, we can delete this print line statement. If a user selects 2 to make a deposit, we're going to assign our balance variable. Balance equals our balance plus call the deposit method. Our deposit method is going to return a number, an amount. If it's valid, we're going to return it back to the place in which we call it. We will add this to our current balance and reassign it to balance. Our balance will equal our current balance plus the deposit that we make. We can shorten this too. We could just say balance plus equals deposit. Okay, let's do a test run. Banking program, let's show our balance. Our balance is currently 0. We'll select 2 to make a deposit. 2. Enter an amount to be deposited. Let's try and break it first. Let's say negative $1 million. Amount can't be negative. Then we're brought back to the menu. Let's try and make a deposit again. Enter an amount to be deposited. Let's say $150 and a nickel, 5 cents. That seems to have worked. Let's show our balance again. And here's our new balance, $150.05. All right, the deposit method is done. We can collapse it. We no longer need to code within it. And now we need a withdraw method. We will declare a new method. It's a static method. We'll be returning a double. The name of this method will be withdraw. There will be one parameter. We will pass in a balance. Double balance. We do need to return something, so temporarily, just so our program runs correctly, I'm just going to return 0. We'll change that later. Within this method, I'm going to create a local variable of amount. Double amount. We will prompt a user. Enter amount to be withdrawn. We will assign our amount equal to, we're going to use our scanner. And remember, it's within the class scope, so we have access to it within this method. Scanner.next double to accept a double. If somebody tries to withdraw money that they don't have, we can check that within an if statement. If the amount is greater than our balance, we're passing in our balance so we know what it is. If somebody tries to withdraw $1 million but they have no money in their bank account, well, they can't do that. We will print insufficient funds. What if they try and withdraw negative money? We can check that within an else if statement. Else if our amount that the user types in is less than 0, we'll output amount can't be negative. Else if everything checks out, we'll return the amount. I will cut our current return statement. We will return the amount that the user types in. Return amount. So within our if statement, return 0. Within our else if statement, return 0. When we reach the end, we do need to return something, even if it is 0. And I'm going to use print instead of print line. So let's go back to our switch right here. We're going to be returning a double. We will take our balance equals, we're assigning it, take our current balance, minus, call the withdraw method. We have to pass in our balance, our original balance. From our current balance, we're subtracting the amount that we're withdrawing. We can simplify this expression too. We could say balance minus equals, then call the withdraw method. All right, let's do a test run. First, we'll make a deposit. I will deposit $100 to keep this simple. I will show our balance. We have $100. I will try and withdraw like a cajillion dollars. Insufficient funds. We don't have a cajillion dollars. Let's withdraw again. I will try and withdraw negative money. Negative $420.69. Amount can't be negative. We can't withdraw negative money. Okay, let's try and withdraw something that's valid. $50.01. That seems to have worked. Let's show our balance. Our balance is now $49.99. The last step is to exit and display a goodbye message. Let's print the following. Thank you. Have a nice day. Just so the user knows that they have exited the program. And for fun, I'm going to add some text decoration, some separators. Not necessary, but I think it'll look nice. All right, let's run this one last time. Banking program, enter your choice. I will show our balance. We have $0. I will make a deposit. I will deposit $1,000. Show our balance. We have $1,000. I will withdraw. Let's withdraw a single penny, 0.01. Show our balance. We now have $999.99. I will press 4 to exit, and we exit. Thank you. Have a nice day. All right, everybody, that is a Java banking program that you can write as a beginner.